Hey guys, it's Nick, and in this video I want to talk about the deal between Nikola Motors and GM that just came out recently. And with all this news about fraud and all this stuff going on, what is the story with this deal? Did Nikola get over on GM, or did GM get over on Nikola? Well, let's look at it and figure this out. So the basics of the deal is that Nikola conjured up stock out of thin air and gave GM 11% of their company, worth about $2 billion. In exchange, GM is going to build their Nikola Badger pickup truck car in the end of 2022. So basically for the model year 2023, 2 years away. And on top of that, GM cannot sell this stock until 2025. Now there's a 1-year lockup period, so they could sell a portion in 1 year, another portion in another year, completely unlocked by 2025. So let's start with Nikola. What does Nikola get out of this deal? Well, for one, the most important thing they're getting out of this is publicity. Them having a deal with GM sent their stock up a lot just on the news. It even sent GM stock up, which doesn't really move much anyway. So that is the biggest thing. That's their social proof that, hey, we're a real company. We got this production deal hammered out here with the biggest U.S. Auto manufacturer that knows what they're doing, has all these technologies and all this stuff. So we're legit. We got this truck coming. So keep buying our stock and, put us in the same league as Tesla and any other electric company and give us this huge premium that we deserve because we're such an innovative electrical car company. And let me tell you, the more I read about this company, the more it seems like a scam to me, because reading the press release from this GM thing, the CEO, Trevor Milton, said, when he's hyping up this thing, he said, Nikola, one of the most innovative companies in the world, and General Motors, top class engineering, blah, blah, blah. Let's think about that for a minute. One of the most innovative companies in the world. And I read something that back in, I think, November last year, they said they were working on a battery that had twice the density and 40% of the weight of a Tesla battery, which would make it, pretty amazing, right? But here they are a year later, and they're contracting with GM to use GM's electric batteries, which GM doesn't even make. LG Chem makes them for GM. So how did they go from being a huge innovator to saying, hey, GM, can we use those batteries that you buy from these guys in Korea? Doesn't sound that innovative. And from what else I've been reading, Bosch makes their electric motors, but I mean, that's kind of moot because GM is going to make this whole Badger for them if they're still around in 2 years. GM is going to make the whole thing, and it's basically based on their BET electric platform that is going to make the electric Hummer. So Nikola basically said, we got no technology, let's go shop around and find somebody that has an electric platform that we can put our truck on and put out a press release and get some publicity that we're legit and we're real and all this stuff. And so, yeah, they're going to use GM's Hummer platform. And not only that, but they're also going to use GM's fuel cell, hydrogen fuel cells as well. Now, what does GM get out of this? Well, like I said, they get $2 billion in stock in Nikola right off the bat without even having to do anything. So imagine, you're a pizza place owner and this guy comes in and says, hey, listen, I'll give you 11% of my company, basically a call option for 2 years. And I'm going to come back in 2 years and buy a whole bunch of your pizzas. Are you okay with that? I'd be like, yeah, sure. Thanks for the shares. Come back in 2 years with cash in your hand, and I'll make you as many pizzas as you want. So that's good for GM financially, and as well, the deal is that it's cost plus. So they have to pay GM what it costs plus some percentage that they agreed upon as GM's profit. So GM doesn't have to build these cars and then wonder if there's demand to sell them. They're pre-sold, contractually to Nikola. And not only that, but GM also wrote in the contract that they get to keep the zero emission vehicle credits that those cars produce when they make them. And as you might have seen, Tesla, their last quarter's earnings, they made like $400 million from selling these credits to other car companies that didn't have enough zero electric vehicles, that they would have paid a fine, and it was cheaper to buy these credits from Tesla. So GM's going to be making those cars and keeping the credits themselves, so they could use that to offset any fines that they might be paying. So that's also good. So the question is, who's scamming who here? In my opinion, I think they're both scamming each other. I think GM knows that they're kind of BS and vaporware and, just in it for the publicity. And I'm sure that Nikola also thinks that GM's technology is kind of second rate, but it's good for their publicity. Their hydrogen fuel cell that GM produces or is in development along with Honda, they've never actually used it in a production car. So, imagine this, you're doing all this work producing this stuff and you're like, this is not even good enough to put in our own cars. But Nikola comes along and says, hey, that crap that you produced that you don't even want to use, can we use it? Yeah, I'll sell you this, no problem, as many as you want. It's like you got this stuff in your basement that you can't use and someone wants to buy it. Yeah, sold to you. So when you think of the names Cruise, Hydrotech, and Ultium, what pops into your mind? Nothing, right? Same with me. But when you think of Tesla Model 3 or something like that, you immediately know Tesla, high technology, this, that, and the other thing. Those three things are GM products, and nobody knows about them basically, but GM is pissed that nobody knows about them because everybody's looking at Tesla for this electric stuff, but they got all these other three products that they're not known for, and they want to get some attention to it to possibly spin it off as maybe a separate company or something to unlock some of the value, because Cruise is their self-driving software that they bought in 2016 for about $1 billion. They put another $1 billion in it. SoftBank put $2.5 billion in it. Honda also put money in it, like $1 billion or so. They just put more money in to the point where it's valued at $19 billion. GM stock is only valued at $43 billion. And that's from selling almost 8 million cars a year. So here they have this software that nobody knows about that is supposed to be valued at basically half of their company. Then you have Hydrotech, which is their hydrogen fuel cell division that they do research with Honda. But like I said, it's not good enough for either them or Honda to actually put in any of their cars. So what's that worth? I don't know, but with all this hype in the market and stuff, it's got to be worth something. And then finally, you have Ultium. And what is that? That's their battery division. And like I said, it's LG Chem makes their battery. Now, I'm sure LG Chem makes the main part of it, and they tweak it somehow, kind of like how Panasonic makes Tesla's batteries, but they tweak it their own way or whatever they do with it, I don't know. But what I'm saying is those three things together, there's a Barron's article that talked about this, about them unlocking the value there, and that could be as much as $30 a share or so of value in that, unlocking it. And you got all these analysts talking about it because of course, they want to convince GM to maybe do a spin-off to unlock that value and get whatever fees they would get by doing that, of course. So GM is looking at this and saying, yeah, I don't care if Nikola is a vaporware or a scammy or whatever. This puts us on the map. And so this gets our name out there that we're a viable, producer of electric cars and hydro fuel cells and all of that stuff. So maybe we'll start getting the same kind of valuations that these other producers of these parts and these electric cars are getting. So as an example, the PE of GM is 7. They made $6.7 billion on $137 billion in sales last year. And so multiply 6 billion times 7, that's their market cap, 43 billion. Tesla, on the other hand, their PE is about 1,000. And they sold $24 billion worth last year, 367,000 cars, and they lost almost $900 million. Yet, their market cap is $350 billion. So, 9 times more than GM. So GM's thinking is, listen, if we do more deals like these, whether they come back with the check 2 years from now and actually produce these cars or not, it doesn't matter. We're getting our name out there and making people aware that we're also electric batteries, hydrogen fuel cells, self-driving, and all of this stuff. And maybe, these Robin Hood traders or whoever will start saying, hey, just like you say, my favorite thing about Tesla is it's not a car company, it's a technology company. Okay, so they want to say the same thing about GM. Hey, this company that sold 8 million regular cars last year is not a car company, it's a technology company. So give them a multiple instead of 7 PE, give them at least 15 and double their stock overnight or something like that. So that's what GM is in it for. And the best analogy I could think of for this relationship is if you ever see the TV show American Greed, all these scammers, they always have pictures in their office of them in a suit with President Obama, President Bush, President Trump, all these big people they're shaking hands with at the White House and this and that. Why do they have that? Because it gives them social proof to the people that they want to sucker. When you walk into a lawyer's office, I'm not saying lawyer's going to sucker you, but I'm saying you walk into a lawyer's office or a businessman's office and they have these pictures there along with their degrees and stuff. That's their social proof on how valuable they are, how legitimate they are, and all of that. So there's a lot of these guys that are, they're not known. They own a string of, auto parts store in the South or something like that. They donate to, the Republican Party, the Democrat Party. They get invited to the White House, and for an extra $1,000, they get to shake hands in their best suit, smiling with Obama or Trump or whoever. And now they have that social proof and they put it on the wall, and that helps them in their business. And so most of the times it's only one-sided, meaning if you're, a 10 millionaire, own a few stores and you're shaking hands with Obama, Obama gets no value from that, except for the $1,000 you have to donate to the party to get that handshake. But in the case of, say, let's say Trump is up for re-election and, Elon Musk goes to the White House and has a thing and shakes his hand and stuff like that. They're kind of both increasing their value from that. Maybe Tesla supporters might vote for Trump now because of that. Maybe Trump supporters might buy a Tesla because of that or something. So they're both gaining some value. And this is what's going on with the Nikola and GM thing. They're both, shaking hands and smiling with each other, whether they believe that either side is going to do anything good for them or not. They don't care, because it makes for good publicity for both of them, for both of their companies. So that's the main gist of what this whole thing is about. Because like I said, this production is 2 years out with things going with Nikola who knows if they're even going to be in business in 2 years. I mean, yeah, greatest innovators, one of the best innovation companies on the planet, they don't make their own batteries, they don't make their own cars, they don't make their own motors, they don't make their own fuel cells, they don't make their own inverters. What do they make except press releases, and they create stock out of thin air to pay GM to take this photo op with them? So that's my thoughts on the deal with GM and Nikola. They're kind of both taking advantage of each other to their own benefit. And so if it's mutually beneficial, that's why they're doing it. And so that's why they're doing it. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and leave a comment and let me know on who you think is taking advantage of who, or if you think they're both equally benefiting from this deal. And as always, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Thanks for watching.